Oh my god, I'm really wanting to run for fucking mayor in this town.
You've
God.
kind of been preaching about it lately.
I want to because I'm fucking tired of this power grid. All right, I'd be trying to fucking get our power grid fixed, not just in our area but in other areas, because I'm fucking tired of the fucking rolling blackouts.
Fuck.
Fuck. Welcome everybody to the Calling Couple. I'm your host Gage, along with my beautiful, wonderful co-host
Sage.
And today we're going to be talking about politics. Haha, psych. We're going to be talking about spoiler alerts of the new Flash movie that we watched. And if you haven't seen it, please go ahead and stop this episode right fucking now because
Spoiler warning. Flash.
honestly, don't even go see it. I'm not going to recommend you to go see this movie. It was absolute garbage. So,
Your kids will like it, though.
yeah, your kids may like it, but it was fucking god.
It's almost garbage. I wouldn't say it is garbage.
No, it is fucking garbage. I've seen better CGI in 90s porns than I do in this one, okay?
Yeah, the CGI is terrible. Like, make up your mind. Are we doing CGI or not? And if
Ryan-
you're going to do it good.
Ryan Reynolds fucking warned Warner Brothers a long time ago. Don't make it CGI or look animated, and they fucking did. They absolutely did it
He
in this
said,
one.
don't make it green. Or animated. That's what he said.
Yeah, whatever. Well, it's still,
Get it right.
you have... Okay, so let's go ahead and just dive into this, all right? Why don't we? So at the beginning of this movie, it's not bad. Like, it opens up with a decent premise. It's kind of funny. It's kind of like, okay, here we go. And then when you get into the first fucking action sequence within the first 5 minutes of the film, which it took forever on stupid jokes to get into it, then you get to see the first glimpse of the CGI that they had in it, where, like I said, if you guys haven't seen this and you want to watch it, you better leave now.
It's good until the CGI suit. And then you're like,
oh, bullshit.
What?
The CGI babies, the dog, the whole fucking CGI set. He put a baby in the microwave, okay?
I could have forgiven the CGI babies because you can't actually toss a baby out the window.
I don't know. I mean, DC's pretty dark. They could have got away with that. I mean, there's a lot of things that they could have done, but the thing is like, it's like when they made this movie, it was almost like, yeah, we're gonna put all of our money into it, and then they find out that the main actor is part of a cult or some kind of shit, and then they were kind of like, oh well, fuck.
They just stopped.
We've got to make our money back, so
we have to finish this movie.
And that's where this movie would have been better off just straight up like, guys, we canceled it. There's just no way. We're gonna give you something else, but we're canceling this one because it's just absolute garbage.
You can tell that they stopped working on it, and then like we're like, oh, we quickly have to finish this movie because we're gonna come out with it anyways. You can see that the animators were like, oh, I guess we're gonna stop working on this project because of what came out in the newspaper, and then like the producer was like, no, go ahead, we're gonna come out with it, and they're like, but the deadline's a month away. Yeah, finish it up. And that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like they had to finish it up.
Yeah, and that's where it really fucking went downhill. The whole plot was very convoluted, very hard to fucking keep up with, because like, you know how like in Marvel Avengers, which we still have to talk about Marvel. All right, we still got to go about that. But during Infinity War and Endgame, where it was the time heist, and it was like, oh, you're basing your entire thing on Back to the Future. Well, in this one, they really fucking do, and then they just say, well, we're not supposed to do that, but we're gonna do it anyways, and fuck it, we're just gonna go with it. And
I think Batman put it into perspective of the bowl of spaghetti.
Yeah, well, that was after he already did it. That was after he already went back and fucked it all up. Which, of course, we get Ben Affleck back as Batman for the first part of the movie, and it was.
I did not expect that. I was very happy to actually see Ben Affleck.
I was actually very disappointed because again the CGI on him made it look so stupid. They could have built a bike and actually put him on the suit and make him do a lot of that. Okay. And of course, some of the CGI action, sure. But they could have really put it there. But you could tell it was all animated CGI. It wasn't Ben Affleck doing a lot of this. Mm-hmm. Like, the only time you see Ben Affleck as himself is when he's standing there with Wonder Woman. And even then, it still looks a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
And the fucking... Like, they didn't know what they wanted to do with this movie. Whether they wanted to make it a live-action film or a video game. And that's what really confused and fucked with me a lot. Because if this was a video game, the animation would have been great. It'd have been great. It's great for a video game. But if you're trying to make it live action, trying to make it realistic and shit, it was just garbage. Oh my god! I mean, I'm serious. I see kids' cartoons that have better animation than this shit. Like it was bad, but so we get Ben Affleck, and it was great. I actually was just like, fuck yeah, we get him back. And as the movie fucking progressed, oh my god, here we go. Barry Allen is being all crybaby because his mom died instead of actually being or listening to his friends. Who all of his friends are fucking encouraging him not to do something of this nature. That you can't change the past, you can't do any of that, or you'll fuck up the future that you have no matter what you do.
Yeah, you can't have what you have right now in the future if you go back and change your past.
Yeah, and Ben Affleck even told him, it's like the butterfly effect. You change one minute little hair back then, you change the entire timeline.
Some of the stuff he changed was kind of funny, though.
We'll get to that here in just a second.
Okay.
Because, I literally went when I saw it. So he tells him that, and Barry Allen's like, okay, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go back and change anything because you're right. It's going to be that bad. Then somehow, which was kind of ridiculous, how he came upon this thought. Like, they were trying to cram so much into this movie that it was just kind of ridiculous. Like, less is more, people. You got to realize that. Quit trying to overdo it. Quit trying to give us nostalgia. Quit trying to do all this. And give us what you can and what you're able to do. Like, you're cramming so much into these films that it's hard for people to actually want to enjoy it and follow along with the story. Well, so he figures out, oh, God, if I go back in the past and I put this can of soup in my mom's cart, she won't die. And it's kind of like, okay. So he does it, right? Goes back, fucking does it. And it's just, okay, at first it was like, all right, he did it. Let's see how it goes. And then all of a sudden he gets pushed out of there by a time warp Flash. And, of course, they couldn't even do a good job on the CGI on that to where you didn't know that was Flash. Like, they try to make it like, oh, it's somebody different, it's somebody evil, but then you're just like, no, that's Flash. Mm-hmm. You knew it from the get-go, and it was stupid. But he gets pushed out of his timeline and gets put into the timeline where Zod first shows up to planet Earth, which was like a few days after Barry Allen got his powers, which I guess the storm for that was brought in from whenever Zod started entering the atmosphere is what really caused it.
I don't know, that kind of makes sense to me.
It did. It wasn't bad.
Zod's ship entering the atmosphere gave Barry Allen his powers.
Yeah, and
that's kind of a cool theory. I kind of like it.
I did like the fact that how they tried to explain where Flash was when all that was going on. And that was nice. It was a very nice touch of like, oh, okay, because we got to see where Batman was. Batman was actually trying to save people. Barry was too, but he only saved one. But he realized
he couldn't.
Right.
He wasn't strong enough to save. Like, he wasn't a hero yet.
Yeah. And so it was understandable, and I was like, okay, I can go with that. Mm-hmm. I'm right back on track with you now. Then they brought into his other self. Well, at this point, his other self was already there. And him playing another person was just... The younger self made more sense than the actual main Barry Allen that you're trying to follow. Because you're just kind of like, well, he's not wrong. And he's actually putting you in your place a lot more than you would your own self. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
That's kind of what the... No, because I liked that. Because that was the Barry Allen that did get raised by his mother.
And
So he had a lot more stability in his life. Remember, he got his parents taken away from him when he was a kid. Mm. He grew up in the system. So that teenager version of himself that we were watching was someone who was raised by parents. So he was like a little more whole.
Yeah, but here's something that I don't understand. Is like, okay, so you wouldn't put the can back into her cart, right? Mm-hmm. The burglar's still going to come in your house.
Yeah.
So how come they never touched on that? How come they never said, yeah, somebody did break in, but Dad was able to fight him off?
They never got that. They never got to that point.
But that's what I'm saying, is even though you changed that one little detail...
They did explain it. They did.
They did?
They did, yeah. He said, the burglar came into the house after his dad left. He must have thought the house was empty. Mm. But since the dad never left, the burglar knew people were home and never went inside.
It's still 50-50. They could have added...
No, because that was the explanation of why he didn't...
Yeah, but they could have added that in there of like, no, we didn't get broken into, but our neighbors did.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a good little... The burglar was still there. And what if they'd caught the guy?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it would have been a nice little like...
then you would have known who killed his parents, and then he would have gotten revenge eventually and all that. Because that's the thing, though. Even though his dad got acquitted later on... Spoiler, sorry. I mean, it's not like we're not spoiling the whole thing anyways.
Right.
Even though his dad got acquitted later on, they still don't know who killed his mom. They still don't know who the burglar was.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Is like you still don't have to know. It could have just been a nice little our neighbor had a robbery and all that, and that's when he could have realized it was like the neighbor was always going to come around. It was just my dad was here to save my family, but it affected the next person, the person next to you, kind of thing.
And maybe that storyline was been worse than Barry's storyline.
Right, and
that would have been awesome to know. Like instead of creating the Flash, it created a villain.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it still goes on the lines of the butterfly effect that you changed one little thing, but it affected somebody else, and that's where they could have kind of gave us a hint of that. But they still went on with it, and so now he's got his younger self, his powers, and which it was pretty funny. It was a funny scene. I'll give it that. A lot better CGI out of the entire film, which I thought was okay. Finally, we're starting to pick up a little bit on the CGI, and then it goes right back to shit. But
I feel like they CGI'd that scene before the downfall, before the newspaper shit came out.
Yeah. So now he's got his powers and he's trying to teach young Barry all this and that. And there was
it's hilarious.
It is hilarious, but there is a lot of unnecessary
montaging.
Yeah, and a lot of seeing this dude run around naked. Like, we don't really need...
Oh my god, you see him naked so many times.
It's kind of disturbing.
Like, the first time is funny, the second time was weird, and the third time was disturbing.
Yeah. And it kind of made me like, I guess I gotta turn this off for my kids, because holy
shit. They
really
want his ass on the screen.
Yeah. But... Of course, he's fighting with his younger self, which this younger self has never had to deal with anything that he had to go through because, the time paradox and all that kind of shit. So he's like, well, Zod's about to destroy the world. We got to fucking stop him. We got to find Superman, which, okay.
I did like the inevitability. That was a really cool touch.
Yeah.
I'm saying there was a good premise in this movie.
There was.
The execution was terrible.
Oh, absolutely. Like, if they had made Flash more of a side character and put...
If they had live actions the Flashpoint cartoon, that would have been awesome.
Yes.
I love Flashpoint.
Yeah, the Flashpoint cartoon
I
is
hate
way
that they
better.
gave us... In this one, they gave us Old Man Flash.
Mm-hmm.
But he was the villain.
Yeah.
I hated that. Because in Flashpoint, Old Man Flash was the good guy.
Yeah.
He's the one who saved everybody.
Yeah, he's the one that basically said, no, you cannot do this because this is what happens.
I did like when the worlds collided, though, and you got to see all the different Supermans.
Well, we're going to get to there.
Okay. I'm just like, that was so cool. I did like that part.
So,
it almost made the whole movie worth it.
Now they got to try to find Superman, right? They got to get Superman so they can help stop Zod and do that. But he's going through all this researching. And by the way, his friends in this movie are absolute pieces of garbage. If you have friends like these people... Kick them in their ovaries, knock them in their jugular, and be like, fuck off, man. You guys are absolute pieces of shit to me. And both their realities, I mean, it was fucking horrible.
They weren't his friends. They were just his coworkers.
Coworkers and roommates.
Okay, his roommates, yeah, I understand, because those were young Barry's roommates. The coworkers that were coming out of the job with him, who were saying like, "Oh, look, is this a friend of yours, Barry? What? How many does that make? One? Ha 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 ha." Obviously, they're not his friends if they don't count themselves as friends.
Okay, I'm just saying, don't let people fucking treat you like that, no matter who it is.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Those weren't his friends. Those were just his coworkers. Don't let your coworkers treat you like that.
Well, he thought that he possibly looked at them as the closest things to friends.
Yeah.
Moving on from there. So now he's like, okay, so Batman exists. We've got to find Batman. Let's do that. And so we're now...
I like him when he looks for... Oh, they look for Batman first.
Yeah, they look for Batman. And now at this point, we all know who Batman's going to be.
We all knew who it was going to be.
And it was okay. It was all right. I liked it. Yeah, I will say that it was pretty it was probably the best part of the whole fucking movie.
I liked it because we got the closure. Not closure, but an add-on to when Alfred died. Because that made all of us sad when we watched that movie.
Yeah.
When he was in his bed dying at the end of that movie?
Oh, you're talking about Batman and Robin. Or no, yeah, Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he kind of saves his life and all that, which was the same Alfred from Michael Keaton's, Val Kilmer's, and George Clooney's.
I'm saying, like, that happened. That was one of those inevitable things. Mm-hmm. Alfred dies.
Well, because he was an old man, yeah.
Yeah. And I like that. This was a Batman who had lost Alfred. I loved it.
Well, and he also was in the mood of retirement because not only did he lose Alfred, but he made Gotham one of the most safest cities there on the entire planet.
Yeah, he was Old Man Wayne.
And so now he was like, I can retire. I like he is not as brooding. He's not as
what they should have done instead of him being like, I'll don the cape one more time for this mission. They should have been like, giving him a number and said, oh man, I'm retired here. And giving him a number, and he was like, "What? Who is this? Who the fuck is Robin?"
No, I don't think
Who the fuck is Nightwing? Something like that,
I don't think it should have been Robin. I think it should have been Batman Beyond. I think it should have been that one, where
that would work.
Yeah, because
it
would have worked just fine to where we could have got a futuristic Batman, because he's like, Gotham's safe, but it still needs its Batman.
Flash's suit was freaking CGI'd, so Batman Beyond, bring it on.
Right? Would have loved it. I would have loved it to be the older brother from Boy Meets World that played the voice of the new Batman from Batman Beyond. Yes.
Jensen Ackles.
No. Next thing you're going to say is it should have been Sam Witwer.
Hey. Tell me his jaw would not make a good Batman.
Well, in Batman Beyond, he wears a full suit where you don't even see his face. So it's not really going to matter.
But not Sam Witwer.
But it would have been nice to have the nostalgic voice being that character. But moving on, we're back on the storyline. So he's searching for Batman, and he comes across Bruce Wayne, who's now Michael Keaton. And he's retired. He's saved Gotham. He doesn't need to fucking fight anymore.
Lots of nostalgia for us.
Yeah, it was great nostalgia. And he actually broke down the multiverse in one of the best ways that it could be presented.
Yeah, it's called the bowl of spaghetti theory.
Yeah, and it broke it down very well, which I wish Marvel would have done that in the beginning, but they
tried, but they went too science with it. Bruce Wayne was just like, here's some spaghetti.
He was like, look, when you're trying to talk to people about this shit, you got to go like special ed class with them so they can understand and follow it. And it was perfect.
I mean, like, that made perfect sense to me. Spaghetti.
Yeah, and it worked out where Marvel it took fucking 2 phases to kind of explain the multiverse, so where we can follow along. Where it took them one fucking movie at 4 minutes long to be like, this is the multiverse. Oh, okay.
You see this hard piece of spaghetti? Well, you're trying to bend it, but it's a hard piece of spaghetti. So all you're doing is making another stick of spaghetti and crossing those in a totally different timeline. And here's what you're fucking doing. And then he pours a bunch of soft spaghetti in a bowl.
Yeah.
He says, this is what you've done.
Yep. And honestly, it was great. And now I'm hungry for spaghetti. So
now we're making spaghetti tonight, guys.
Yeah. So he explains everything to him. And that's when Barry Allen kind of realizes, holy shit, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And so now he's like, look, I need your help to find Superman. I need you to fucking do that. And Batman's like, who the fuck is Superman?
Superman?
So you find out that they do some bonding and stuff, which was kind of nice.
He realizes that if Batman is a totally different person, then Superman might be a totally different person. So he probably doesn't have the name Clark Kent anymore. So they're just looking for a spaceship at this point.
Which was nice because
which Barry fell asleep and Batman found in 2 seconds. I was just like, he woke up and then there it was right in his face.
Yeah.
I was just like, such a Batman move.
Well, he did compliment him, like, you're the world's greatest detective. I need your help on this. So he did his
world's greatest detective move and found it in 2.5 seconds.
Which the biggest thing I liked about the Batman with Michael Keaton was that his technology was outdated.
Yeah, that you could tell he had been retired for a long time.
Yeah.
It was all out of date. It was nothing in the Batcave was modern. It was right where we all left off.
Yeah, like his laptop was like from 2006. Like it showed like how long he'd been retired. Mm-hmm. And it was nice. I was like, dude, nice touch. I like that. The way he looked
showed that he'd been retired.
Well, I get that, but I mean, like, you could tell when he actually retired as Batman and how long he'd been away. And I love the fact that the Batmobile was covered up, but it had a bunch of bat shit all over it, like showing that that it's been undercover for a while.
Yeah.
And the only thing I didn't see in there, which I wish they would have had, was the giant penny.
I knew you were gonna say the fucking giant penny.
I wish they had that, but so Batman helps him find him, and he's like, fine, I'm gonna suit up, I'm gonna help you get this dude. And that'll be my last fucking mission.
Yeah, my last mission.
I'm done.
I'll help you find this guy, and then you guys can go take out whatever you're trying to do.
Right. So they find it over in Siberia, and so they go over there. They get in the Batwing. Mm-hmm. Fucking nostalgia.
Oh no! When the Batwing was dropping out of the cave, I was just like,
it was great. I fucking loved it because I was just like, yeah. So they take him over there, and
there's good points.
There was Michael Keaton being Batman again was great. Like. honestly, that was the best nostalgia ever.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wish it would have been the whole movie about
Yeah,
him.
it was like Michael Keaton and all his nostalgia was the only good point.
So
I think this next part was okay.
yeah, they go to Siberia and they track down Superman, and they fight their way in and all that kind of stuff. And of course, Barry Allen's are fucking everything up because the main Barry Allen lost his powers, while the young one got his powers.
Yeah, and so he doesn't know how to do a fucking thing.
Yeah, and they're both fucking klutzes. They're both fucking stumbling over each other.
Yeah, because you know, future Barry Allen, the one the story's about,
mm-hmm.
He doesn't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
You know, he's nothing without his powers. This is what superheroes mean when I say that I'm nothing without my powers.
Yeah, he really did.
He literally was fucking nothing without his powers. Even Spider-Man was somebody without his powers.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Barry, he was a genius.
He was a genius, yeah. Barry was not. He was useless without his powers.
Well, in this movie, I will say, because the comics, he actually does have something on his side.
And he's supposed to be really smart, isn't he? Like, he's a freaking...
Yeah, he built his suit, but yet the rest of the time he's a fucking moron. He can build his suit out of shit that they fiberize what they make to send a shuttle in and out of atmosphere, but he can't fucking walk normal. He can't just sit still.
Trip over things. He can't, like...
He can't...
I don't know.
He can't talk normal.
Yeah, he just seemed very, very incompetent.
The over-sexualization of Wonder Woman in these films, which this one
and the next one,
and
holy
Shazam
crap,
that we're going to be talking about, is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I get it. Gal Gadot is fucking hot, but dude, you guys don't need to fucking be like so overboard with it. Like, holy shit, back off a little bit.
Yeah, are there not other women superheroes at this point? Why is Superwoman still the only one?
Wonder Woman. Well, we're getting to the next super female.
Girl. Yeah.
So they go into the Siberian place. They're stumbling across each other, getting all the guards on them. Batman's having to fucking save their ass because the one with powers doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. The one without powers is fucking useless. Mm-hmm. So Batman's having to do everything, and he's kind of just like, why the fuck am I babysitting you two? Like, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous.
Like, come on, guys, let's fucking do this thing. He literally is just holding their hands through this fucking building. Like, y'all should have just let Batman go in by himself. We would have been done by now. Now, he's literally over here calculating their weight and stuff. Like, I'm just like...
Well, we're getting to that.
I'm sorry. They're just so useless.
So now we're getting into where they find Superman inside this giant sphere. And so Batman's trying to break the code of going through all these different codes. And all of a sudden you see Flash just zip over and zip back. And he's like, it's open.
He tried all the combinations in that Flash.
And as soon as I saw that, me and you both looked at each other. I was like, that's some bullshit because the computer wouldn't have enough time to respond
to any
at the speed of light of all the codes.
Yeah, so you have to push them, click enter, and it has to process and say, nope.
Right. So it was kind of stupid.
Yeah, there ain't no fucking way.
But then they open it up and they go inside, and you can see that the Russian government had actually built this sphere to radiate a red sun like what Krypton was around. And you're like, oh shit, that's how they've been keeping him secret all this time, is they were making him immortal. Mm-hmm. And when you fucking come across this damn near skeleton, you're just like, damn, this person's malnourished and all.
Skeleton of a fucking person in this thing.
Yeah, but it's
Which
not...
we've seen that before in some of the cartoons.
Yeah, but it's not Clark Kent, it's not Kal-El, it's Kara. And it was like, hell yeah, fuck Kara, sweet.
Black-haired Kara, which you don't like because it's not original, but I like it because she actually looks like Clark Kent. They look related.
Yeah, I guess. But so they ended up saving her. They pulled her out of there, and was because the one without powers, the main Flash, was like, she needs yellow sun. She needs to be out in the sun rays, which was nice because that's a good way to save her.
Yeah, he had knowledge. That was about all he had.
Yeah, so they finally get her up to the top side, and when she came to, she was a badass, but she had no idea what the fuck is going on. She
didn't care.
Yeah, she had no care because the thing is she wasn't raised by people or humans. She was treated like a fucking...
not even like the Kara that we knew.
Yeah,
because Kara that we knew got adopted.
Yeah, from the CW Supergirl show. Yeah. And so the thing is she just didn't give two fucks about humans because the only thing that she saw of humans was that they were willing to entrap, imprison, and
they imprisoned her for years and tortured her.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't give a fuck about humans.
Yep. And so once she comes to and they take her back to the Batcave and all that kind of stuff to like get her there, They were kind of like, we need your help to take on Zod. And she's like, whoa, if Zod's here, then I'm going back. That's
She's
my
like,
people. And
I'm Kryptonian. He's Kryptonian. I'm going to go to Zod and help him.
right. Which she goes. She goes there, and then she sees that Zod finds her as a traitor and wants to kill her and take her DNA because... We'll get into that here in a little bit. But so she's like, fuck it. I'm not going to be there if he's considering me a traitor to Krypton, so I'm going to fucking go back.
Yeah, I'm going to go with people that aren't trying to turn me in.
And at this point, this is when our main Flash is like, I need to get my powers back. So him and Bruce Wayne work together on trying to get a lightning strike with chemicals to fucking get him back. And the first attempt, it fails, but he's like,
and
try it again.
Fries the Batcave.
Yeah, and he's like, try it again, but it fries the Batcave. And then Supergirl happens to show up as our main Barry Allen passes out and he's like, I'll help. He's already covered in all this shit, so she took him up into the storm and let him get struck by lightning, brought him back, and yeah, he's back, which is great, because now it's like 2 Flashes, a Supergirl, possibly a Batman. This is going to be fun. And then you see the young Flash, who makes his suit out of an old Batman suit, which, okay, not bad. It's real. It looks good.
It's resistant to the friction, so...
Yeah, it looked great, especially for what they were trying to do.
And it wasn't CGI, so they were like, why didn't y'all do that with the other fucking suit?
Yeah, why? Because in some scenes it was the real suit, in some scenes, and the rest
CGI.
of it was all CGI.
Yeah.
And...
Like, pick one.
Yeah, I know.
One.
And the thing is like, I want people to understand that there's been many movies where one actor had to play 2 of the same characters, where they had to have interactions with each other. I'm sorry, Lindsay Lohan, who is one of the most shittiest, hard-working actresses out there, fucking did it when she was a kid, was able to play 2 different people and still be like, make it convincing. And they didn't have to CGI her. It worked out great. And by the way, that's called The Parent Trap if you didn't know, and if you didn't know, well... Go watch Parent Trap, because it's actually not a bad little kid movie. So, moving back to it. Yeah, the other suit was fucking animated. The entire thing was animated.
And when they were talking face-to-face during the big fight, our Barry Allen was fucking CGI the entire time.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand, because most of the time when you're watching them talk to each other, you're seeing the back of the head of someone... of Barry Allen while you're looking at the other one and vice versa. So they're cutting the angle and it's like, why couldn't you just put them in the suits, have them switch the suits every now and then to do their fucking lines? I don't understand why that was so hard. It was ridiculous. So now Batman's like, you know what? I'm coming back. I'm going to come back as Batman and I'm going to help you guys stop Zod. It was great. Got Supergirl flying with him, both the Flashes in the Batwing along with Batman trying to fucking get over there to stop Zod because now Zod's starting to lay waste to the world. I swear to God, we're getting close to this because this movie's 2.5 hours long.
It was a long ass.
And we're trying to break it down into 40 minutes so we can get into the next film because... So...
The next one's not as bad, though.
No, next one's not as bad. We will say that. So now we're going into them going to fight Zod. And during the fight, it's a long, drawn-out fight. And it looks good. Yeah. But Batman dies. Supergirl gets killed by Zod.
And her DNA sucked out.
Yep. Because now, instead of Kal-El making it to Earth with all the heritage of the Kryptonians, it's been put in Kara somehow.
They needed living DNA. They needed Kara's living DNA to activate what was in Kal-El. Because he wasn't alive.
Right.
Because he was an infant, so he didn't survive them extracting it.
Yeah, and they need the blood of the House of El to
and he was a
process it,
floating husk in space, so he didn't have any blood for them.
Yeah, and here's the thing I have a problem with this movie is, okay, so he went back only like, let's say 20 years, 15, 20 years to put the can of soup in there. I'm sorry, but that doesn't change everything that happened beforehand. Okay, Clark Kent had already arrived to Earth before that. Fucking Supergirl would have already been on her way. Fucking Batman would have been still Ben Affleck. Like, the way that they did this, that one little thing changed everything from the past and future. And it's like, no, it would have changed everything from that point.
Yeah, because Barry's the youngest one, right?
Yeah.
So that thing that he changed should have only changed the future. It shouldn't have changed things. Oh! Never mind, ladies and gentlemen. Spaghetti theory. Remember how he took he had 2 as if they were 1?
Yeah.
And he said, you're wanting to bend the spaghetti. So nothing in the past changed. Well, you didn't change that future. You didn't change the future. You just put yourself on a different timeline where she remembered the spaghetti. versus remembered the sauce.
Yeah, but
so
I don't
it wasn't
know.
like you said. Like they said, Zod destroying that world and Kara coming there instead was all inevitable. That timeline was inevitable. He was trying to change something on a piece of spaghetti that was never supposed to be changed. So instead of changing his future, all he did was put himself in a different timeline where she did remember the sauce. That's all that happened. He just jumped timelines. He did not fix his timeline.
I don't know if you guys. I'm
going to go into the spaghetti theory when we get off this with you.
Okay, if you guys have watched this movie or anything like that, and you can tell us better, please leave us a comment down below. But now
I will explain this later. I'm sure someone out there understands what I'm saying.
We're going to get back onto it. We might have to watch this again so I can fucking figure out what the fuck's going on.
Okay.
So now he's trying to get all the DNA out of her because now she has all that and Kal-El never existed and all this and that because he killed him out in space, whatever. Okay, now, back on track.
Right.
He kills Kara, Batman gets killed, and Batman's kind of okay with dying. Like, he's like, I did everything I wanted to, so I'm kind of good. But the Flash just couldn't let it go. They were like, no, we can't have this happen. We've got to keep going and try to fix it. So now both of them are traveling back in the past at the same time, and say, okay, this is far back enough, let's do it. And then they try to change little minute things for this, but every time that they did, they kept dying. They kept dying faster or more brutal or any of that. And the young Barry is getting fucked up every time.
Every time. He's getting just stabbed left and right. Okay, anyways.
So, now, but the older Barry realizes, okay, nothing.
This is inevitable.
Yeah, nothing we can do.
This is one of those passing points that Bruce told me about.
Yeah.
This is an inevitability.
So he's like, there's nothing I can do. The only thing I can do is go back and take out that can of soup and fucking move on.
And then young Barry is just like, you're gonna let mom die, and he goes, she did die, like.
Yeah, and like you will never know this. You will never have these feelings, so it wouldn't hurt you.
Yeah, it's not gonna hurt you letting mom die. You, in your world, you got mom, okay? It's just that your world is dead now because Zod is here.
Yep.
Sorry about you, but your world's gonna end today. Yeah. Sorry.
So he's trying to fight him, and young Flash was like, "Fuck no," and keeps going back and back and back and back, trying to fix this. And then more times you see him come back while Barry's stuck in the same position, trying to stop him in the time vortex. You start to see, oh shit, holy crap, he is becoming the fucking Flash that pushed him out of the past and all that kind of stuff. Which
we saw coming a mile away.
Yeah, but now you have all the worlds, all the different timelines starting to collide together. You get to see George Reeves and the old Flash from the 1950s pop up, and you're like, oh, fuck, that's George Reeves. And then you get to see fucking...
And at the center of all those bubbles is that universe's Flash.
Yes, that universe's Flash doing what they're doing at that moment.
Doing what they're doing in that moment. They every bubble has to make that same decision.
Yeah.
They're all making that decision at that point, and there's only one Flash that's not making that decision, and that's young Barry, who was never supposed to get his powers in the first place.
Yep. Now, and then you have Christopher Reeves. Mm-hmm. You had his Superman show up, and it was like, which was George Reeves and Christopher Reeves and the girl that played Supergirl, which the woman that played Supergirl is still alive. She is actually on the Supergirl show as the mom that adopted them, but she's not dead. But Christopher Reeves and her being a younger version, yes, I get CGI. So along with all the ones that are passed away or just too old to come back to reprise, I totally get it. We got that, and I really felt like, finally, they're giving some justice to George Reeves. They didn't bring in Brendan Roth, which I was like, thank you, God, because that was the shittiest Superman. But then we got Nicolas Cage as Superman.
Because in some other, I can't remember what show it was. It might have been Christopher Reeves. Maybe something else. I think Superman Back or something like that.
Superman Returns with Brendan Roth?
I think so. I think in one of those ones where we got some Superman, Nicolas Cage also went for the role and didn't get it.
Yes, that was back in 1998, and he was going for it, and it was all set up to go. They made his suits, they were getting everything going. Tim Burton was going to direct this one, just like he did with Batman's with Mike Keaton.
That was the homage to that we were going to get and never did.
But the guy who actually owns the rights to Superman is a fucking piece of shit. He's the one that we got the fucking Brendan Roth Superman Returns, and it was absolute garbage. All Superman fans fucking hated it. Kevin Smith was actually in the role to direct that movie with Nicolas Cage as well. And he straight up said, fuck no, because
But
the guy
Nicolas
who owns
Cage
it...
finally got to play Superman.
No, he didn't, which was fucking stupid.
Well, he did. He stood in for it. That's the thing. Okay, keep going, and then I'll
So
go back to what
the
we were
reason
talking
why
about.
is because Nicolas Cage was completely animated. They could have actually put him in the suit and had him just stand there and then in front of a green screen and did all the background shit. But they didn't. They CGI'd him, and I'm just like, oh, God.
Like,
Now,
dude, Nicolas Cage looks like that. Why are you CGIing him?
I know. But the thing is like the things that you're talking about are the actual footages that they had back in the day of him actually putting on the suit to get ready for the movie,
Yeah.
but they never used.
Yeah, because there's even like a leaked clip of him talking about getting to fight a spider.
Yep.
And he fought the spider in that little clip.
Yeah.
And we're just like, why is it CGI? We actually got to see him do this in a clip.
I know, and that's why I'm like, man, Nicolas Cage would have been all over it of like, you know what, if it's a small cameo, fuck yeah, because he's a huge Superman fan, absolutely a massive Superman fan. So I was okay with him being a Superman. I would have actually been okay with it.
He's got the right build for it.
Back
He's
in the,
tall.
well, for the style that they were going
But yeah,
for.
for the style they were going for back then, yes.
Yeah, because back when Superman returned, he had long black hair and all that kind of stuff. His suit was different. Well, he didn't don the black suit like
our favorite Superman.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill, thank you.
Which,
I kept wanting to say Geralt.
which in the original Justice League theatrical version that they released and he came back in his blue suit, you can ask Sage, I was fucking furious. I was like, are you fucking serious? And then when we got the Zack Snyder cut, he came back in the black suit and I was like, Thank you. Thank you. Because I remember owning that graphic novel when it came out when I was a kid. My mom went and bought me and my brother a copy when we were young. So back to the story. We got that. We got to see all these worlds colliding. We got to see all the different kinds of versions of Flash. We even got to see Adam West Batman, which was great. I'm like, dude, fucking this is nostalgic. Way to go. Our Barry Allen's learning a life lesson of like, okay, I've got to fucking do this. So he's like,
something I did like though about the worlds colliding is that it was all Barry Allen at the center, right?
Yeah.
So he should have been the only one able to see all that, right?
Yeah.
But who else saw it?
All of them.
Superman.
Yeah.
All the Supermans saw the worlds colliding because they can see in Flash's time.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool touch.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was a cool touch that the Supermans couldn't stop it, but they could see it coming. Like, and they all just stood there very stoic, as if like, I'm gonna survive this, but none of you guys are gonna.
So now he's going. Our Barry is trying to talk to young Barry and try to get him to stop, but young Barry's like, I can't stop. So he goes again, trying to fucking fix it, and when he comes back at this time, the Flash that pushed him out,
Purple Flash.
yeah, Purple Flash, of course, he makes himself revealed, and it was just like, yes, I am that Barry that's running around.
And then he's super old.
Yeah, super old. Like,
And they're
he'd
like,
been
how
doing
many
this
times
for-
have you tried this? And he goes, like, he's just been trying it for.
Yeah, he's like, time is inevitable or irrelevant to me trying to fix this. And
he's like super old. He's like blind at this point. His hair is gray.
yeah, and it was nice because the young Barry actually helped stop him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to turn into this.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be you and all that.
Yeah, so he ends up helping destroy that one and then says his goodbye to our Barry and lets him go back and do what he's got to do. Basically finally accepting that it's inevitable. I'm going to die today, so I might as well.
And since he went back and put the... No, okay, never mind.
So this time he goes back. He goes back to save his mom, and he's going back and he's doing this. He gets to the store where his mom was at, and
he goes to put the jar. He went to go put the jar of the sauce back, putting him back in his own timeline.
Right, but he goes back and he sees himself put the jar in the can, or put the can into the basket, and then waited for him to leave. Comes over and is like, starts talking to his mom nonchalantly. Which his mom's like, you know, she kind of was like, oh, I recognize you, but I'm not going to say anything because it's just not my kind of thing.
Yeah, you can tell. She's just got the look of a mom. Moms always recognize your kids. I don't care how different they look. That's your kid.
So he ends up taking it out and putting it back on the shelf, but then realizes when he does that, the video camera that said his dad they
couldn't confirm his dad had been at the store because he never looked up at the camera.
Right. So in this point, he's like, oh, I got an idea. It goes back to his time. Everything's back to normal.
Everything's back to normal.
Yeah. Everything is right back where it was, and it was like, okay, cool. And then he goes to his dad's trial date, and then they were like, we've used Wayne Tech to fix this fucking footage, and now we can actually see that his dad looks up at the camera and puts him at the store. The only thing that he did was he took the cans from the middle of the shelf and put them on the top shelf.
So the dad had to look up
to get that exact can. And
but that's still changing something.
Yep.
Which what does that mean? That means Barry has put himself in a different timeline where his dad was proven innocent.
Yeah, and that's damn near exactly like the one that he's already from.
Yeah, it's almost identical to the one he's already in, except...
And now we're getting to the point where I went, huh.
Yeah, and this is where...
And you can ask Sage, I really did.
Yeah, this is where Gage was like, fuck this movie.
Yeah. So he gets a phone call from Bruce Wayne, and he's like, look, man, I put everything back. I got everything fixed. Everything's fine. We're all good again. I did what you said, and now I fixed it.
And he's like, I'm proud of you, kid. I'm pulling up right now.
Yeah, and he pulls up, and it's just it's staying on Barry's face the entire time, and you can see him, and he's like, who the fuck is this? And then it looks over. It's George fucking Clooney as Batman.
He did that, man. He's like, no!
Yeah, it was, oh, God, no. No.
Okay.
So,
if you make that sound one more fucking time, I'm throwing the microphone at you. You're pissing me off with it.
I'm not going to do it. I can hold down my
So, you almost did it again! I'm going to throw something at you.
Okay, so... But yeah, all in all, and then we get the fucking cut scene at the end of the movie, and it was stupid.
You know, like, pointless?
Yeah, didn't need it.
What was it again? I just remember it being pointless.
I don't remember.
Oh, it was the... No, wait. That wasn't Shazam.
Yeah, so...
Okay, I don't remember the
honestly, this Flash movie, I'm going to give a 3 out of 10, okay? Like, it's not...
The CGI ruined it that much for me.
Yeah, like, I would rather watch Green Lantern than I would rather watch this one again, honestly. Yeah. CGI was a little bit better in Green Lantern. Yeah. Even with the shitty acting.
I feel like it was bad for how good CGI can be now. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't have an excuse for this bad of a CGI. Mm-hmm. Like, there is no excuse for this poor quality.
So now we're going to move on to the next film we watched right after that, which was Shazam. The second one, I can't remember what it's. Something
Wrath of the Gods.
Is it Wrath of the Gods?
Wrath of the Gods?
I can't remember.
Something of the Gods.
Yeah.
Fury of the Gods.
Yeah, Fury of the Gods, that's it. So we watched that one, and we're kind of expecting it to be just as poorly as The Flash, because we were very disappointed with The Flash, but we were like, fuck it.
Yeah, we just knew the animation was so bad that we're just like, this animation is going to be terrible because they all have super suits, so it's going to be awful. Which, kind of was.
No, I'm going to say this right off the bat. Flash Fury of the Gods, I will give that an 8 out of 10.
It was pretty good.
For storyline, sticking
with... You
have
to remind yourself constantly that it was about children.
Yes.
And that it's goofy for a reason.
But it actually wasn't that goofy. They still stuck with a lot of the dark tones, a lot of dark undertones that they had from the first ones.
But it was also kind of goofy.
It was.
The main character was really goofy.
Yeah, but that, like you said, they're kids. They're kids with superpowers. Of course they're going to be immature.
That's what I'm saying. You have to remind yourself that. If you want a serious movie, don't watch The Flash. Don't watch Shazam.
Yeah, but if you like the first Shazam, you're going to like this one. It's still the same atmosphere. Yeah. Like, nothing had really changed. You're picking up right where you left them.
Are we going to go chronological order? Because there's something I do want to talk about that I'm kind of pissed off about.
Okay.
They never explained why the wizard wasn't dead.
No, they didn't.
And never. Whole movie never explained why the wizard wasn't dead. Because literally died in the first one. And the kids even bitch about it. All the Shazam kids were like... Literally watched you die, and then he does not explain himself at all.
No, he doesn't. He does not explain himself at all.
He does not explain why he's alive or how he got in prison.
But if you can look past that, it's still a fun fucking film. It is still a lot of good times, a lot about growing up, moving on, becoming of age. I liked all that. And they all wore actual suits, not CGI.
Yes, I liked that. I actually surprisingly took me a minute to notice that they were actually wearing suits, because in the first Shazam, his lightning bolt, you can stick your hand into it, right?
Yeah.
Because his brother does that.
Yeah.
In the second one, it's a solid piece of gold.
Yeah, it's a new suit. They
have new suits. How? It's a magic power. Why do they all have new suits? No, why is it not a hologram of a lightning bolt like it was in the first one?
Well, they kind of cut back on it a little bit, which I'm okay with. I'm not going to go too bad about that, but it wasn't a fully animated suit, and the person that was wearing the suit wasn't animated along with it. They were actually wearing suits. That was nice. And that's what really I liked about that, was that every single one of them had suits. The only time that they needed to be animated is when they were doing superpowers and all that kind of stuff. Other than that, want to add one beautiful thing that a lot of people have been bitching about lately when it comes to adding LGBTQ into a movie. Yeah. So many people are tired of it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not. I fucking love it because I'm in the community, so I love it. I don't care. You can rub your heterosexual relationships into kids' movies. Mm-hmm. But
God forbid it'd be two girls or two guys, right? It's the same difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's all sexuality. It doesn't need to be in kids' movies at all, period. Anyways, I think they did it nicely in that one.
Yes.
It was a very good coming-of-age LGBTQ.
Yeah, it was.
They didn't rub it in your face. The whole family already knew. It was very, it wasn't obvious, but it was like a good, we're superheroes. I'm gay. Yeah, dude, we knew.
Well, and I think they did that for more the audience to be kind of accepting of look, this man, all these people are willing to accept him.
Mm-hmm.
Just accept him because he's not changing. His character isn't changing. There's nothing going to be different about him.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to be part of the LGBTQ. Which yet again, I was like, okay, not a big deal because it actually didn't ruin anything of the movie at all. And I know people are like, well, why did it need to be in there? So fucking what? It added more to the level of realism into a family.
If you're gonna do that, then if you're gonna say well, why did him being gay have to even be in there then? Okay. Why did the other brother having to go on a date with a full-grown adult, even though he was 16, have to be in there?
Yeah.
You know, why did that have to be in there?
Yep.
It didn't, but that didn't bother anybody, did it? It bothered the mom, but that is understandable. What's with our boys and older women?
Yeah. But in all actuality, this one was still just as good as the first one. And it's very rare to see a sequel be on the same level, and they were pretty damn close. Shazam! Fury of the Gods is still under the first one, but it's right there with it. It did not lose a lot of its touch or tone.
I did like how they all had their own strong points. I did enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. And Helen Mirren, Lucy Liu, those two were really good villains.
Oh, those three, the three sisters played beautiful maiden mother crones. Because in every religion,
mm-hmm.
there is a maiden mother and crone. There is a triquetra. There is the three heads.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even in Christianity, there is the three heads: the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Every religion has the three heads.
Yeah.
And I just liked that they played it, but in Greek mythology.
Yep.
It was beautiful.
They did. They did a really good job, and it's still in this movie, you actually are still building and growing with all the characters. You're seeing their sides and their points of view from their perspective, and you're kind of just like, oh, I get that, okay. And then when it's all over, you're kind of just like, you will walk, if you watch that one and watch Flash, you're gonna walk away with Shazam, Wrath of the God or Fury of the Gods a lot happier than you would with the Flash and Black Adam.
If you're gonna watch them both, watch Flash first and then watch Fury of the Gods. That way you can leave the experience a little happier.
The only thing I wish that they would have fucking done in Shazam was, in the cutscene, you see Black Adam's boots hovering over Shazam.
Oh, in the cutscene?
Yeah. Where Shazam's walking away and you just see Black Adam's boots just drop down into frame.
At the end of Fury of the Gods or in the first one?
No, in Fury of the Gods. To where it's now it's time for our fight.
I missed that.
No, I'm saying that's what they should have done.
Oh, that's what they should have done. I'm just I missed that part.
Because you didn't have to have The Rock, because what they did with Henry Cavill and
the
first
end
one,
of the
where
first Shazam,
you didn't see his face.
You never saw Henry Cavill. Yeah.
But if you'd have had his boots just drop into frame, it would have been one of those oh shit, now it's getting time. It's about time. I
don't care what anyone says. I liked Black Adam. I thought it was a good movie.
It was a good movie. I just wish they would have stopped with all the fucking slow-mo shit. Actually do it in fast mode so we could see how powerful he actually is and how scary he could be. Because they did so much slow motion that it was kind of okay,
you never
we're
actually
seeing
got
it.
to see his speed.
Yeah, when you did, you were kind of oh, okay.
Yeah, it kind of got Red Dead Redemption, did I?
Yeah. But and with Shazam, whenever he's doing it, or when Superman's doing their speed, you kind of get scared because you're fuck, you'd never see them coming at all. They are so fast and powerful that you'd be fucked. But in Black Adam, they kind of withheld that.
Oh, and then the Shazam cutscene, so stupid.
Yeah.
Both of them. I didn't like either one of the cutscenes.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, the whole deal with Sionis, or whatever his name is. Not Sionis, that's somebody else.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Sionis is a Batman villain. Learn your shit. I'm sorry. So, the guy that was in the first one, I can't remember his name. But...
Anyway, yeah, the one-eyed evil dude. That's what Shazam called him.
He just, they're not really going anywhere with that. They're not giving us. They're trying to give us teasers for true blue hardcore fans, which I get. If you're a hardcore fan, please leave us a comment down below and let me know who the fuck this is and what it's all about, because I don't know.
Who are you waiting for, man? Because
I wasn't a huge Shazam. I'm sorry, Captain Marvel, because that's who he was before they had to fucking call him Shazam, and that was the whole thing about the whole movie, is like, what's my name gonna be? What's my name gonna be? And honestly, it'd have been great if they just said Captain Marvel. No, that just sounds too girly. Something like that. But no, they went ahead and went with Shazam, which I'm just like, okay, that's kind of stupid.
Because you can't ever tell anybody his name.
Yeah, be like, so what do we call you?
Well, if I say it out loud, I'll turn into my human form.
Yeah, so it was kind of stupid. It was.
Yeah, so
that's why he had his name as Captain Marvel, so
yeah.
he could say Shazam and it'd be okay.
Yeah, he can't say Shazam in front of the press, because then he'll turn into his fucking kid form.
Yeah, or anybody. He can't ever say it in front of anybody, and it was kind of just like, man, you guys dropped the ball on that. Which I'm just
what
like,
was funny though? The dad.
Yeah.
And the lightning.
Yeah.
No Shazamming in the house.
Is that why lightning keeps striking our house?
That's exactly why.
But all in all, it was a fun film. It's one that I am happy to have my kids watch, because it was still a good coming of age.
Except for the sexualization
of
Wonder Woman.
Yes. Yet again, this was the other part that we were talking about, of the sexualization of Wonder Woman. Man, Gal Gadot has probably got to be like, this is starting to get a little fucking creepy.
It's getting a little weird. Who's ever making these movies is really obsessed with her, and they need to back the fuck up.
Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ. I get it. 1984 Wonder Woman was not good. The first one, very empowering, very badass, all this and that. But then it's like, okay, we get it. You made.
I liked it. I just didn't like the villains.
No, 1984 could have been a little bit. If they just went with straight up Wishmaster and fucking what's her name, the Cheetah Girl. If they had went with her, or went with them and not
I didn't like the Cheetah Girl.
If they would have went with them and not bring back Chris Pines as his ghost and all that kind of shit, it would have been better. It would have been better, because
you want Chris Pines' ghost there.
Because we need, as superhero things, we need to fucking have it to where they stop being like, yes, you can deal with your grief by holding on to them, instead of working through grief in a different manner. If you notice, all the superheroes, they hold on to that. They hold on for so long and all this and that, not willing to ever let go, all this and that. But you're not helping those that are dealing with grief in real life on how they could go about fixing it.
Oh, wait, who was it that said you need to find a grief counselor because we're not really good at that? Was it Flash who said that?
I think it was Flash.
It was like we're like that's fucking beautiful, because that's so true.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was saving people, and he was just like, if you need to like have a, if you need to, or was it no? No, yeah, I think it really was Flash.
It was Flash. It was Alfred and Batman that were saying it on their intercom of like, you need to get a grief counselor because we're not really good at that. Yeah,
we're not good at that part.
But all in all, Fury of the Gods was really good. I liked it. It's been one of the better ones that have came out in the last fucking 10 years. The acting was spot on. The fucking storyline was great. Like, out of all of it, it was a nice, like, you never really missed a beat, and you could still relate with Billy Batson and his family.
That's his name.
And all that kind of stuff. So
the Wizard was funny.
It was nice to have him back. I love that actor. But the only downside to it that I could see was what his name was.
I like how they did actually do something with what everyone at the beginning in the first movie thought would be a problem, with a bunch of kids being able to turn into adults. They're going to do adult things as children.
Mm-hmm.
And they did. Freddie went out on dates with adult women.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't show it on screen or anything, but you knew what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't really like that.
I don't like that they did that.
Yeah, and, I mean, the only thing that was very acceptable was the fact that the older sister went out and partied and got drunk and was feeling like shit the next day, which was kind of stupid because when she was in her superhero form, she shouldn't have felt any of that.
Yeah, she should not have felt hungover in a superhero suit. Like,
and
you should be, that should like instantly heal your superhero.
Yeah, Yeah.
Like, just, like, if you're hungover, just Shazam real quick and then Shazam back. You should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. Is like they should have kept her out of her suit and did that to where it could have been more of like, ha ha ha, she's just trying to be or live a little bit of normal for the little bit of time that she has.
I really thought they were going to go with that. I thought she was going to want to give up her powers and be like, I want to have a normal life. I don't want to do this. Oh, I fucking hate, in the first one, she was fixing to go to college?
Yeah.
Billy talked her into not going to college. I hate that. I'm just
too.
like, what the fuck?
If
like, really? You didn't go to college?
Do that.
Like, you got superhero powers, so you can't go to college now? Fucking freaking Superman went to college.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to say, is they should have fixed that of like, look, I didn't go to campus college, so I'm doing my online. You're going to have to give me time.
Well, that's what she was doing. That's why she was studying, because she didn't go to college. She was doing it online.
Which, okay, don't knock that then. That's something.
But she had the opportunity.
I know.
She was going.
And they could have fixed that by saying, look, I knew that if I took on this responsibility and this role, that I couldn't go to a normal college and do both. So I was willing to sacrifice my own going to college to still get my college degree, but do what is right, what needs to be done. They could have made it a little better.
Yeah, instead of just throwing it on Billy.
Yeah, like it was all Billy's
fault that she didn't get to go to college.
Right, and it could have made it better for those that didn't get to go to college and stuff like that, to actually look at online college as not a bad opportunity to go do.
That's true.
They could have made it work, but still, yet again, not a bad film, not a bad movie.
I liked
it. I'm probably gonna go watch it again once we're done here because it was a lot of fun. I want to see
if
if
watching them both.
No. But I do want to see if there's anything I missed during those things. I like the Easter eggs.
What's the timer at?
Timer's at 56 minutes and 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds.
Okay, well, I would like to mention before I hang up that we did watch one more movie after that.
Oh, God, yeah. What did we watch? I forgot.
It's called, and this is the American pronunciation, it's called Sisu. S-I-S-U.
Oh, my fucking God.
It is not a Marvel movie. It's not a DC movie. It's not a superhero movie.
Okay, we're going to spend the next 15 minutes telling you about this movie. Because this
I was
movie
like,
was
just hang on
great.
15 more minutes. We're getting way off of DC. This is just a normal World War II
If you've heard of this movie and you want to know what it's about, we're about to give you the best little bit we can without trying to ruin too much of it. But I want to say within the first 3 minutes, go ahead and leave to go watch it if you don't want to hear any more.
Yeah, we really don't want to spoil this movie because it is really good.
God damn, this movie's good.
We love war movies more than we love Marvel or DC movies.
Yeah, I know. That's what's so crazy about us.
That is weird that we don't do that. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about a lot of war movies. We'll have to do an episode about it.
Okay, I was going to say next episode we write down our favorite war movies and we discuss why we like them so much.
Our lists will be very similar.
Yep, it will. Well, that's where we could have good points on what we liked about that movie.
Yeah,
so,
there we go.
All right, to Sisu. Sisu was a fucking great movie where this guy who had been a part of the German war, at this time, the war is almost over. 1944.
What?
The war is on the verge of being over. So now...
Finland?
Yeah,
is that where it's
it's based in Finland, and now the Nazis are having to retreat out of Finland back into their home countries because the Russians are pushing them out.
But they're doing, what is it? Something Scorch.
That's
Codename Scorched Land is what they're doing. That was a real term. That's what they were actually doing.
Yes,
back then.
and that's what this whole movie's based on a real event.
Event, not true story. Yeah. Real event.
Real event. So the Nazis are being pushed out, and this man who was a part of the war had left it all behind and trying to go find him some gold, trying to make a better life for himself when the war is over.
He wanted to become a panhandler and leave the war behind him.
So he's out there digging, and he comes across gold. And a shit ton of it.
It's a vein of gold. Not just a gold in the river. It's a whole vein of gold.
Yeah, and it's a lot. And he's just like, holy shit, my life can be different now, all this and that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he loads it all up, packs everything up on his horse, brings his dog, and they go, right?
Mm-hmm. They're going to go find to the bank, which is
530-something miles away.
So far away.
Yeah, that's the closest bank to him. So he's on his way, and he comes across some Nazis that are in their transportation.
They're in the middle of their retreat. Yes.
Yeah. Stop here if you have not seen this movie.
Because spoiler warning.
Yep.
It's so good. Please, if you like war movies, if you liked Saving Private Ryan, if you liked any of those kind of movies, go watch this fucking movie.
Yep, it's great. So go ahead, stop right here, go watch that, and then leave us a comment down below in this video after you've seen it and tell me what you think. And if you've already seen it, leave us a comment down below. So he runs across the Nazis, And the Nazis kind of were just like, all right, fuck it, leave him be, let him go. He's an old man, he ain't worth shit. So he fucking goes and runs across the second patrol behind him. And when he does, they wanted to fuck with him. They were like, oh, old man, what the fuck you doing? Oh, you're a gold miner. Do you got any gold?
You got any gold miner?
And so they find the gold, and they were going to fucking execute him. And you could tell that he was just like, no, I fucking done too much to fucking...
He worked too hard for this gold. He doesn't say anything, but he just worked too hard for this gold. You see his hands shaking.
Yeah.
Like, he's fucking pissed.
And he goes through and just fucking wipes this group out.
Just so brutal and bloody. If you like them brutal, bloody movies,
if you like John Wick, you will love this because John Wick
it's by the same makers.
Yeah,
that's right.
The same makers of John Wick made this movie, and it's fucking great. So he ends up killing him, and he starts going on about his day. But the battalion in front of him,
they heard too many gunshots.
Yep,
so they had to circle back around.
And so they come back and they find all their guys fucking dead, and they're like, oh.
And in one of the dead man's hands is a chunk of gold.
Yep.
And they realized that panhandler they just passed on had a lot of gold on him.
Yep. And so now they're fucking chasing him down in a tank and trucks, all this and that. And they start fucking unloading, and now he's on the run, like running for his fucking life.
He's got his horse running now. He already told his dog to leave.
Yep, told his dog to leave. Of course, the makers of John Wick, they got to bring a dog into this.
Gotta have a dog in there.
But so now he's on the run, and they're shooting at him with their cannon, and they're just missing.
They're barely missing him. But
not by much, but they are just barely missing him.
So he's gaining ground. He's getting away. He's on a horse. They're on a tank. He's gonna outrun them.
Yeah, but
they know they've just came from this way, so they stop their tanks, but they keep firing. But you're like, the audience is like, why'd they stop?
And then all of a sudden, BAM!
Boom! Like, fucking, I jump out of my chair. I'm like, what the fuck? His horse just blows the fuck up. Landmines. And then it says, like, it does the chapters thing, like an old Western.
Yes,
Loved it.
It does almost like a good fucking Quentin Tarantino film.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, it feels like Kill Bill, but like World War II style.
Yeah. So, his horse gets blown up. His gold goes everywhere. Now the Nazis have time to make their way up to him as he's coming to, trying to figure out what the fuck happened. Mm-hmm. Say sorry to his horse and say his goodbyes to it because, he's very sentimental to those that are used to him. Mm-hmm. And then, so he's gathering up all his gold, and they're just like, okay, let's go get him. And he sends one of his Nazi guys out there. They step on a landmine. They're like, fuck.
They're like, how many landmines did we put out here?
And he's like, all of them.
And they're like, fuck.
Yep.
So they happen to have some prisoners with them. Do you want to talk about what kind of prisoners they are?
Yes, they have some...
bitches, as they called them.
Yeah, they have some Fenway and some Jewish women that they have captured that they do anything and everything to.
One of their trucks is called the Bitches and Booze truck.
Yeah, you don't see any of that happening.
Yeah, you don't see any of it happening, but it's very suggested.
Yeah. So they take two of the girls out there. They tie them with ropes and have them spread apart, at least a good fucking 10 feet.
The distance of the road. Yeah. Oh, the distance of the tank. That's right.
Yeah, and so they had them walking down, and if they hit a landmine, okay, well now put another person out there and keep going. Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, this guy, before they send the ladies out, they send two other soldiers out before they decide to use the ladies. And this scene was fucking badass.
I know, because the Nazis didn't see what it was. They didn't see that he had chunked them.
Yeah.
They just saw explosions, so they thought the two guys had just stepped on him.
Well, no. They see the one because he's still in the shroud of smoke behind him. He's inside the smoke trying to hide from him. But he finds him a fucking landmine. And he picks one up and fucking throws it, hoping that it would either hit them or fucking hit around them to scare them off a little bit.
I think he saw them. I think he threw it directly at them on purpose.
I think it was an actual luck shot.
You think it was just a luck shot?
Yeah, and you see this mine coming, and the Nazi sees it, and he's like, oh, fuck, hits him right in his face and blows him up.
Blows him to pieces, like literally bitty chunks.
Yeah.
Like, this is a gory movie.
Oh, yeah. And so he gets blown up, and they're kind of like, nope, now they're bringing out the ladies, and now they're trying to get through. But
because they think, like, oh, he won't throw a landmine at the ladies.
Right, but they're also using them to find anymore and all that kind of stuff. But now he has enough time to start making his leeway. And he starts making his leeway, comes across the truck, and then all of a sudden he falls asleep from being exhausted because he's an old man.
He got shot.
Oh, yeah, he did get shot in his leg.
Because he was using that. He found that shield, remember?
Yeah.
And he was backing up with it.
No. He used his pan.
His panhandling fan. That's right. He was using that as a shield, but it didn't shield his legs. It wasn't big enough for his legs, so he could get shot in the leg.
So now he finds the truck. He's exhausted. He's tired. He's hoping that he's
bleeding.
Yeah,
and he's old. He's an old man.
He's hoping that they turned around from the minefield and went back, but then all of a sudden they start catching up.
Why didn't they turn back?
They didn't turn back because they wanted that gold.
They wanted that gold. They were ordered to, though.
No, they were ordered to turn around. What they did was they found his original dog tags that flew off of him when his horse hit the landmine.
Oh, that's right.
And they found his dog tags, and they realized, well, shit, he's a German. He's a German soldier.
No, he was a Finland soldier. That's why the girls knew who he was.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So he was a soldier that was documented, and to go against like the Russians.
Yeah,
and shit.
he had Russians on him before. Like they had a bounty on his head and everything, but they had removed it years ago.
Because they were on the.
They were like, we're losing too many soldiers to this motherfucker.
They were on the radio with this guy, and you get a backstory about this dude. Yeah. Now, yet again, in this movie, you do not hear the main character speak.
He does not speak the entire movie.
And so he, they give the fucking. Soldier or the general on the radio the tag number, and he looks it up, finds out who it is, tells him everything, and he's like relaying it back to the Gestapo that's in charge of the entire platoon, and he's just like, well, this guy used to be a Russian hunter. He used to be a soldier.
One-man battalion.
Yeah, one-man death squad, and
that's the word they use.
And he would go in and fuck you up and all this and that, and you would never see him coming. And here in this story,
because there was only one, you actually didn't.
Yeah,
like he was looking for just one man.
And
nobody.
They said that like how creative he was at doing what he would do.
Remember who created this movie?
Yeah,
the people who made John Wick. So you're getting very John Wicky feels this whole movie.
Yeah, but the thing is it's actually not that far fetched of his story.
Okay, it's a little more realistic than
because like he lost his wife and kids during this war, and because what we need to understand as Americans, our war only started from in the 40s to 45. Over in Europe, it had been going on for 20 years.
Yeah.
It had been going on a long time. It's not one that was like, oh, well, we showed up because that's when the war started. No, it's been going on for a long time. Hitler had power for a long time.
Yeah, so, he had started and lost his family during the war.
Yeah. And when they were still fighting Russia before we became allies with them. So he lost his wife and kids and gets into the military, and the military was kind of like, dude, we don't know what to fucking do with you because you don't listen to anybody, you're not willing to do, but you're deadly. We want to do that.
His own people had put a bounty on him just to get him, like, hey, reel yourself in, buddy. You know, like, they put a bounty on him just to get him back, you know? Yeah. Like, you need to get your ass back. Oh, you won't? Well, I'm going to send soldiers for you. And they're like, fuck it, you know, go do what you're doing. I mean, you're stopping them, so I guess go ahead. So the Germans, then they put a bounty on him, thinking that, like, we got to stop this guy. He's taking too many of us out. But then when they put the bounty out, too many soldiers were going after this guy.
And dying.
For the bounty, and then getting killed. So they were unnecessarily killing more of their soldiers than he would have killed by himself.
Yeah, so they were like, you know
what?
They're
like, fuck it, we're taking the bounties off, leave this guy alone.
Yeah, then leave him the fuck alone.
Yeah, they're like, if you see him, just fuck off, you know? Get away from him.
Yeah, and that was...
that was what he wanted.
That was the 5-star general for the Nazis back then telling this tank operator, you need to fucking stop.
Yeah, because he'd been retired for a little bit now. No one had heard of it from him in a long time. They were in the middle of a retreat. They just wanted this war to be over. This is the last person they thought they were going to hear from at the end of the war.
Yeah, and now this SS officer is like, you know what? Fuck that. I want his gold. We're going for his gold.
They're like, we are losing this war. When we turn ourselves in, they're going to fucking hang us.
Yeah, because war crimes.
So, let's go after the guy with all the money, and we can save ourselves. Which is very plausible. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of with this officer.
It's a legit reason because that was actually a true thing in history where they did do that.
They did. They fucking deserted. And they went after money so they could pay for their lives.
Yeah, because on our next episode, we're going to talk about a movie that really does dive into that subject right there and how it really did affect the real lives of people because it was a true goddamn story. So,
Schindler's List?
Yeah.
I knew it.
I was going to save it for the next episode, but yeah.
Well, now they can look forward to it.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about that one.
Back to Sisu.
So, Sisu, he was like, we're going to go after him. So, now he's hiding behind this truck trying to fucking get some rest, and all of a sudden he gets caught up with them. Now they got their German shepherds.
Dogs on them.
Yeah, they got their...
And he knows these dogs are going to fucking find him. He's bleeding everywhere. They've got a piece of his clothing. Like, he's fucked.
Yeah, and so he ends up getting underneath one of their trucks as it was driving by and stabs into the gas tank, pouring gasoline all over them, throwing the dog's scent off.
Yeah, and the dogs are like, fuck, we can't do nothing.
But they stop by a pond, and that's when this cool-ass underwater scene happens that I am not going to tell you anything about because you need to watch that.
Before you get to the cool-ass underwater scene, I really liked that the German soldiers were not stupid.
Yeah.
Like, they were walking the dogs, and the dogs lost the scent because of gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the officer who was walking the dogs said...
Gasoline.
Mm-hmm. So they weren't stupid, you know? They're like, there's not going to be random gasoline out here. This is coming from that truck. So they knew he was under the truck, but he had gotten out from underneath the truck quick enough.
Yeah, and what was nice though is they released the dogs after him, and as soon as the dog got to him, he pulled up a match, lit it.
Lit himself on fire. He was covered in gasoline, and he lit himself on fire to scare the dogs off.
Yeah, and it did. It stopped the dogs, but he was close enough to the pond that he was able to jump in. Okay, so that's how that was possible.
We're skipping over the pond scene because we don't want to spoil that. That was just too fucking cool.
It was so cool. So we're not going to ruin that.
Oh my god. That was like...
If you guys have seen it and you like that pond scene, or tell us what you think of that pond scene.
Go watch Sisu. This movie was awesome. SISU. I don't know how to pronounce that word.
So he ends up getting away from the pond and all this and that. And now they caught his dog because his dog was trying to go back to him and all this and that.
Yeah, they caught his freaking dog.
He finds the town that's been scorched, which is one of the whole...
Yeah, they were the Germans that had just done it.
Yeah. And so...
Like, there were still people sizzling.
Yeah, they even said that when they first encountered him. Like, there's nothing back that way. Yeah. Now he's in this town. He finds an old gas station that has been burnt to the ground that he's just like, okay, I got a place I can rest. And then he falls asleep and he wakes up to the sound of his dog. And he's like, oh, shit, my dog fucking found me.
Oh, my dog found me. Awesome.
And then his dog comes up to him with a German grenade strapped to his side, active.
Active, yeah.
And
so he's got like 2 seconds to get that thing off the dog.
Yeah, and he gets it off. And as he throws it, it blows him and the dog away. Mm-hmm. Now, they're both alive. They're fine. Yeah. But... That was just enough.
No, they're not fine. No, well, he's not.
Yeah, the dog's fine. Okay, so don't worry, guys. The dog's fine. Don't worry, the dog's fine. It's not a John Wick, but
at this point, the dog is fine.
Yeah. So it gave him enough time to knock him out to where they could catch up and string him up, and they do. They string him up.
They hang him.
They hang him. And I was like, damn, they take off with his gold. But he got lucky because he was able to find a piece of rebar on the post that they hanged him on to the bullet wound in his leg. He put that rebar in there to lift him up just enough to...
He stabbed himself so he could lift himself up enough to breathe.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's where it gets even better. And like I said, we're not going to go in too far of this because we're running out of time.
Are you sure? I'm just like, I want to explain why the movie is called Sisu.
Now, we'll get to that. So at this point, a German plane's flying over and it's actually running out of fuel, so it has to land, but it happens to see, hey, there's a gas station, maybe we can get some gas.
Which is where he's been hung.
Right, where he's been hung. And the rattling of the plane and all that actually helped...
Shakes the sign that he's been hung on.
Yeah, shakes it free to where he slides off and he's like, oh my God. I can breathe.
He hits the ground hard, though.
Yeah, he does. And like I said, this movie is not gentle on the pain and all that kind of stuff.
Like, you feel everything with him.
Yeah. So you're watching, or then they... Okay.
He's tripping.
So they land the plane. They're looking for gas, and the dog is barking because it's now by his owner that's on the ground. He's just like, oh my God, what are you doing? We got to go, all this and that. Yeah. So one of the lead soldiers of the plane was like, hey, go over there and shoot that fucking dog. And that's when he was like, oh shit, he's alive.
The second soldier sees him and says, oh shit, he's alive still.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, shoot him and shoot that fucking dog.
Yeah. And so at this point, he fucking comes conscious enough to fucking kick the dude in the leg hard to where he fell and hit debris.
No, it was a cement block.
Yeah, debris.
Debris, yeah, you're right. Debris.
So he smacks his face on the cement debris that fucking instantly kills him.
Yeah, just
yeah. Oh, yeah, it was kind of like, God damn.
Yeah, just brain splatter.
Yeah. And so the other soldier was like, what the fuck's going on? Why are you not like,
why didn't, because he heard the gun go off.
Yeah.
But, so he thought he had shot the man. He's like, okay, now go ahead and shoot that fucking barking dog.
Yeah.
And the dog just keeps barking and barking and barking. And then the guy's like, come on, man, shoot that fucking dog. And so finally, he's not answering him. The dog's still barking. So he walks over to him.
But the guy's not on the ground with the noose. And he's like, what the fuck?
And so he's looking around for the guy who was on the ground and then got him too.
No. He knocks him out and ties him up to the post while he now goes look for gasoline for the airplane. Cause he's
because he's going to take the airplane.
Because at this point, he was like, fuck it. Is the gold really worth it and all this and that? But then he was like, nope.
It's worth it.
Yeah,
I'm going for that fucking gold.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the whole term of sisu comes from in Finland, is that it is a hard word to translate.
Well, The only good way to explain it. There is no translatable term for it. That's why I'm saying I'm probably botching the shit out of it, because whatever the Finnish word for it is does not translate to English. So saying siso, like su,
you can say Norwegian.
sisu, saying sisu is probably not how you pronounce it, but pretty much what we call that here is grit.
Yeah. And basically meaning that he was not willing, like, sisu is a soul that is not willing to quit or die.
You are unable to give up.
Yeah.
You cannot give up.
Yeah,
There is no giving up. That's not something in you.
Yeah.
That's what sisu is.
And so now he's like, fuck it, I'm not going to quit. So.
Oh, yeah, because that was the German nickname for him, the Immortal.
Yeah.
And they were like, and then, okay, are we going with the Finnish girls now?
The Norwegian girls.
They were in Finway, and they are Finnish.
Norway is in Finland. They were Norwegian.
Okay, Norwegian girls, whatever. Go for it.
Now, we're going to talk about this real quick, but we are going to wrap this up. So, what we're going to do is, now he gets in the plane. He used the guy that he tied up to fly the plane to get to where they are, because they
crashed the plane in front of him.
Yeah, because they're way ahead of him. So he used the plane to his advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's caught up, and they're even saying, like, yeah, we got away with this. That guy's not immortal. He's done, all this and that. But that's when one of the girls that was captive was in the back of the truck.
She had been
started
eavesdropping enough to know who the hell they're talking about.
Yeah, because one of the soldiers was like, do you think we actually killed him? Do you think he's gone? The other soldier's like, yeah, he's fucking gone. Like, that motherfucker ain't going to be coming back no more.
We hung him. He's dead.
Yeah, and that's when the girl started smiling and was like...
Not yet. We hung him. He's dead. And then they see the plane. It wasn't until she sees the rope that she knows it's him.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he crashed the plane, then he stows himself away on one of the trucks without them knowing. Then they start moving along, and that's when he was just like, oh my god, what the fuck? I thought we killed him.
Yeah, because they find the rope they had hung him with.
Yeah.
On the airplane pilot.
And that's when she gives you the definition of sisu and what it is and all that.
And they're like, you don't, and the soldiers are looking at her like, you don't really think he's immortal. And she goes, no, he's not immortal. He just refuses to die. Which is what sisu is. The inability to give up.
And so now we're going to fast forward a little bit because it is hot as hell in this room. So
it is hot, and this movie is long.
Yeah, because we're going to we should give some more recognition on the next episode because we're going to talk about war movies. So
yeah, we'll talk a little more.
We're going to fast forward through the whole big battle, which was fucking fun. It was so fun to watch. It was a good film. It was fucking like...
He liberates the girls.
Yeah, and then some.
And then
some.
He liberates the girls. The girls take the tank, and they make their way to a safe point, to where they were headed.
Yeah, into Russian territory to where they can be safe.
Yeah, to where the Nazis were supposed to surrender.
Yeah, and so... but at the end of the film... This entire time you're watching this film, he does not say a fucking word.
Yeah, he doesn't talk the entire movie.
He doesn't talk.
He'll make like noises if he's in pain or something, but he hasn't said a word the entire movie so far.
Not one. And it was so cool. It was like, dude, that's a new one.
I mean, he's only been living with a dog and a horse. I mean, like, he's had no one to talk to.
Yeah, but even still, when the Nazis were talking to him,
when the Nazis were talking to him, trying to get him to say something, he still never said a word.
Yeah, you almost think that he's a mute, but... whenever he gets to the bank, he finally does all this shit. To the bank,
and he is like covered in blood and dirt and all this stuff, and he's like freaking all the people in the bank out there, like moving out of his way. Slams his
fucking axe down
every footstep is just a loud boot noise and all that.
And then he dumps his bags of gold on there.
Dumps his big old giant bag of gold on the bar, and the girl's like, "How can I help you?" And he goes,
"He's like, big bills, a lot easier or a lot lighter to carry."
Yeah, in the most accent as possible. Like,
and it was the most badass thing ever, and that's when the movie ends. And it was just like, oh my god.
He was just like, I want to trade this in for bills, big bills, a lot goddamn easier to carry.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, end movie. Finn, loved it. Great.
So yeah, Sisu was a 10 out of 10 because it was the entire time you're just like, no. What the fuck?
How the fuck? And then the fucking lake scene, and you're like, God damn!
Yeah.
Like, the movie could have been over right there, and then I would have been happy.
Yeah, it really could.
I'm glad we got that wrap up, though. I wanted a second one immediately.
Yeah, but you don't need it. So
you know, no, you don't.
You
so
do
please,
not need
please.
it. It's
the people who made that, please don't make a second one. That
Yeah.
old man has been through enough.
And it ended beautifully enough. You made a great fucking film.
Great, beginning to end film. Loved it.
So
I don't even need a prequel.
Yep. Just leave it. Just leave it alone. We're good.
Oh, but I would like to add, since it's from the people who made John Wick,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pretend that is John Wick's distant relative, or like an ancestor of some kind.
He could be noted as the son of, like, in the assassin world, he is the son of a sisu.
Yeah. Son of a sisu. I like it. You, son of a sisu. I'm in.
But, guys, thank you so much for being along with us on this long episode. This is probably our longest episode that we have done.
There's just too many movies to talk about, man.
Yeah, and so if you're looking forward to our next episode, which is going to be war movies, by all means, make your own list and let us know down below of what your
Let's
list
see if
is.
any of yours are on our list. That'd
And
be
if
cool.
you have any grievances against the movies that we have talked about today, by all means, let us know. You can even leave us an email and a more in-depth conversation on our email at callingcouplepod, P-O-D, at gmail.com. And we will be willing to at least read it. We may not respond to it because it may piss us off, but you know what? It's your opinion. We are going to at least hear
if it
you
pisses
out.
you off, just let me know and I'll respond to it.
Yeah. But other than that, thank you guys so much for being here with us. And if you guys have liked our stuff, please give us a like, a subscribe, give us a share. This helps out our channel to keep going, even though we're going to continue to do what we're doing, because we honestly don't give a flying fluke of what anybody else is thinking about what we do. We just enjoy doing this. So if you enjoy it,
doing this, man. This is fun for us.
and if you enjoy it, by all means, give us some love. We'll give it right back. And you guys take it easy out there. And if you find some gold, just be sure.
Watch out for them Nazis.
Yeah, fight for that shit. So I said what I said, and that's gonna be it for today.
Caca.